I'm 25 now, and not too long ago, I went to celebrate my dad's 49th birthday with the family. But before I get into how that night went down, I need to rewind a bit and unpack some pretty heavy stuff between me and my younger brother. He's 22. This whole situation started about 3 years ago. Back then, I was in a serious relationship with a girl, we'll call her C. She was 24, and we'd been inseparable since high school. I genuinely thought she was the one. She felt like home to me, and I believed I meant just as much to her. Then came Thanksgiving. I'd crashed at a friend's place the night before, helping them move, and swung by a bakery to pick up some desserts before heading home. But when I walked into my place, something was off. All of C's things were gone. No note, no heads up, just empty space where her stuff used to be. I called her. Straight to voicemail. Tried again. Nothing. Checked her phone's location, but it was turned off. I was confused, worried, and starting to feel this slow crawl of panic in my chest. So, I pulled up the footage from my front door camera. And that's when my heart dropped. There she was, C, loading her things into a car. But she wasn't alone. My brother was helping her. They packed up, got in, and drove off together. I immediately tried to call him, but just like her, he didn't answer. My thoughts were spinning. Part of me refused to believe he'd actually do something like this. We were tight growing up, like best friends. Sure, we drifted a little when I left for college, but we always kept in touch. Nothing ever hinted at this kind of betrayal. Still trying to make sense of it all, I called my dad. I asked him to get Mom to call my brother and put it on speaker. When she asked him point blank where C was, he didn't even hesitate. She's living with me now. She broke up with OP. Those words hit harder than anything I'd ever felt. I froze. I hoped, prayed, it was some horrible misunderstanding. So I checked Facebook. Then Instagram. And there it was, photos of the two of them, smiling, hugging, kissing. That's when the heartbreak gave way to rage. I got in my car and drove straight to his place. I didn't even think, I just started pounding on the door, yelling for him to come out. But it wasn't him who answered. It was her. The moment I saw her, everything inside me cracked wide open. I just broke down crying. Right then, he walked in from the kitchen, calm as ever, and told her to go upstairs. Then he turned to me and said they'd been sneaking around behind my back since my second year of college. And just to twist the knife even more, C came back down and told me, cold as ice. I dumped you because I was tired of pretending I even liked you. That moment changed everything. The person standing in front of me wasn't the girl I thought I loved. She was a stranger. And I realized, standing there in my brother's house, that none of this was worth it. Not the tears, not the fight, not even the anger. So I walked away. I've always tried to keep things calm, even when the world's falling apart. I know yelling and losing control doesn't undo anything. But make no mistake, I was furious. And I decided, right then and there, they were both cut out of my life. For good. Fast forward to now, I'm living in California, still single, doing my thing. The family gathering was going fine, until guess who walked in? My brother. And his wife. So, as it turns out, my brother and C got married and didn't waste any time starting a family. They even showed up at the family gathering with a stroller. At this point, after everything that went down, I'm over it. Therapy helped me realize that it wasn't me causing the chaos, it was her. During the family get-together, my brother tried to talk to me, but I wasn't in the mood. I just kept chatting with my aunt, and before I knew it, I had almost forgotten they were there. But then, as I was heading to the basement for more ice cream, my brother appeared out of nowhere and startled the life out of me. He tried to apologize for the mess he caused 3 years ago, but I wasn't interested. I just walked right past him, and he didn't try again that night. The next morning, though, my phone blew up with texts from my mom, telling me I should forgive him. She said it was the right thing to do. Both of my parents are pretty religious and had already forgiven him, but for me, it's not that simple. What he did shattered my trust. He knew how much she meant to me and still decided to go behind my back. I just can't forgive him for that, not now, not ever. Update time. Before I dive into what happened next, I want to thank everyone who shared their thoughts. I need to clarify something though. Some of you suggested I get back at my brother in some not-so-friendly ways, even cutting him off for good. I get where you're coming from, but I'm not trying to paint my parents as the bad guys here. They forgave him a long time ago, especially after finding out he and C were having a baby. Honestly, confronting my brother in a way that could escalate into something worse, like getting myself in serious trouble, would only make things more complicated. Now for the update. I had a serious conversation with my parents and my brother. We all sat down in the living room, and I laid it all out. I told them exactly how I felt about what my brother had done. This wasn't something I could just brush off. It wasn't about holding a grudge forever. It was about the fact that I can't ever imagine having a relationship with someone who betrayed me like that, especially with someone I was close to. My brother tried to defend himself, claiming he changed and wouldn't make the same mistake again. But the damage had been done. What he did cut deep, and I couldn't get past that level of betrayal. He knew how much she meant to me, and yet he still went behind my back, expecting everything to just smooth over. How could I ever forgive that? We kept going back and forth, with him acting like it was all just some minor mistake, completely forgetting that he went as far as marrying her and starting a family. At one point I couldn't help but ask my parents how they'd been able to forgive him so easily. They told me they were extremely disappointed at first, but after he found religion and started preaching, they believed he had truly changed. They said that, if they were in my shoes, they'd have forgiven him. But honestly, I couldn't believe it. The conversation went on for a while until my brother tried to tell me. That holding grudges wasn't the way to go, and I couldn't help but think, wow, you're the last person who should be giving that advice. So, I laid it out for him, telling him maybe he shouldn't have hooked up with someone else's girlfriend in the first place. That really struck a nerve, and he ended up breaking down in tears. My mom jumped in, defending him, saying I was being too hard on him since he'd already apologized and tried to make amends. That's when I dropped the hammer. I told them they had to choose. Either they respected my decision to cut ties with my brother, or I'd have no choice but to distance myself from all of them, including him and his family. It wasn't easy, but I felt like it was necessary. After some tense back and forth, my dad chimed in with something that made me stop in my tracks. You'll regret it if you don't forgive your brother. That really made me pause, so I asked them, is that really how you feel about all of this? My mom sighed and finally admitted. Fine. She said they would have to accept my decision, and that's how it would be. I looked at my dad, and all he said was, yeah. Relief and exhaustion hit me at once. I thanked them for sitting down and hashing it out, then turned to my brother. I told him, no matter what he did moving forward, we'd never go back to how things were. I wished him well, but made it clear that our paths were diverging permanently. After that I needed space, so I drove off to grab some In-N-Out. Honestly, after a talk like that, a burger and fries are the only things that could help me breathe. When I got home, I was so mentally drained that I crashed the moment my head hit the pillow. Now today's a new day. I've decided to start looking forward, so I downloaded a couple of dating apps. It felt like a good first step in moving past all the drama and opening up a new chapter. Update 2. Where do I even start with this? It feels like I've been stuck on a wild emotional roller coaster, and I'm just about ready to get off. But first, let's rewind. For those who missed the backstory, my brother and I used to be inseparable. Best friends. Then, about 3 years ago, my entire world flipped upside down when my ex, my high school sweetheart, ended up with him. I found out by piecing things together through my door camera and their social media. Yep, they were together. Talk about a gut punch. Fast forward to now, I'm doing my thing, single, and dipping my toes into the dating pool. So, back to that family gathering. It went from calm to chaos the moment my brother showed up with C and their baby. I've done enough therapy to not let it throw me off completely, but it still stung. He tried to talk to me, but I wasn't having it. The next day, my phone was flooded with texts from my mom, trying to convince me to forgive him, citing their religious beliefs. But here's the thing, how do you just forgive and forget something like that? It's not just what he did, but the way it all went down. That kind of betrayal doesn't just vanish. Now for the real update. I had a heart-to-heart with my parents and my brother. I laid it all out, how I felt, what it did to me, and everything that's been on my mind. So there I am, my brother trying to convince me that he's changed, but really? He married the girl he took from me. My parents are all about forgiveness, but I just couldn't bring myself to forgive him. We went back and forth for a while, until I finally laid down an ultimatum, either accept that I want nothing to do with him, or I'm out, for good. My dad tried the guilt trip, saying I'd regret it if I didn't forgive, but I wasn't swayed. I stood my ground, and eventually, they said they understood. I looked my brother in the eye and told him there was no going back from this, then walked out. Ended the night with some In-N-Out, because honestly, after all that, I deserved it. The next day, I figured it was time to dip my toes back into the dating pool. I downloaded a few apps, started swiping, and for the first time in ages, I felt like I was moving on. Maybe this chapter of my life was finally closing. So, that's where I'm at now, moving forward slowly but surely, a bit scarred, but aren't we all? Here's to whatever comes next. Update 3. Fast forward to me, finally feeling like I'm getting my groove back. Enter Jay. Met her on one of those dating apps, and it felt like fate. She's kind, funny, and totally gets my quirky sense of humor. We clicked instantly, and for the first time in a while, it felt like I was really leaving the past behind. But of course, life loves throwing curveballs, especially when you think things are going smoothly. QC. She slides into my DMs like we're back in high school, and just when I thought I was finally moving on. Turns out, after playing house with my brother, things fell apart for them too. My brother, the golden boy, got wrapped up in some serious drug problems, and she is now teetering on the edge of financial ruin. She starts telling me how she's struggling, how she's been thinking about me, about us, and all the what-ifs. She drops hints like she's ready for a second chance. The audacity. After everything, she thinks she can waltz back into my life with a sob story and a casual sorry. As if that wasn't enough, my parents catch wind of C reaching out. Suddenly, my phone's blowing up with texts, and I'm getting calls from them telling me to forgive her. She's changed, they say. Family forgives. It's like they've completely forgotten everything that went down. Now I'm the villain for wanting to protect my peace and keep my sanity intact. And then, as if it couldn't get worse, my brother reaches out too. Yeah, the guy who completely shattered my world. He asks to talk and says he's hit rock bottom and needs his family more than ever. Really? The guy who ruined my life now wants a lifeline? I could barely process it. But through all of this, there was Jay, standing by me like a silent rock. We sat down one night with a bottle of cheap wine, just talking through everything. She listened, really listened, and gave me advice without pushing me in any direction. Her words? Do what's best for you, not what's easiest or what others want. That conversation was exactly what I needed. It helped me clear my head and focus on what I really wanted, not just what I was feeling in the heat of the moment. So, I decided to take the high road, sort of. I replied to C, carefully choosing my words, wishing her well, but making it crystal clear that this chapter was over. No looking back, no rewrites. And just like that, I blocked her. Closure done. As for the rest of the family drama? I laid it out on the line. I set my boundaries, and though it wasn't easy, it was necessary. I told them I was moving on, with or without their approval. It felt like tearing off a band-aid that had been stuck for too long, painful, but oh so relieving once it was done. Now, it's just me and Jay, navigating this crazy thing called life together. We're taking it day by day, making memories and laughing through the chaos. As for the past, it's behind me, fading away bit by bit. So, that's the latest chapter in my life saga, a roller coaster, but I'm finally learning to enjoy the ride, twists, turns and all. Here's to fresh starts, leaving the drama behind, and maybe, just maybe, finding a bit of peace in the madness. Update, Jay and I are still going strong. She's been an incredible source of strength and understanding through everything. We've been exploring, laughing, and soaking in the good vibes. Life with her felt like I was finally turning a corner, ready to leave all the past hurt behind. But then, just when I thought I could move forward, my brother, let's call him Mr. Roller Coaster, decides to barge back into my life with a vengeance. He's had a rough time, and now he's all about making amends, talking about getting clean, and wanting to reconnect. He even started showing up at places he knew I'd be, going on about fate and second chances. Just when I thought I could dodge that bullet, she shows up in person. Tears in her eyes, telling me she's hit rock bottom, that her life with my brother has turned into a nightmare of addiction and financial disaster. She's looking at me like I'm her lifeline in the chaos. And to top it off, my parents have reappeared, pushing the whole family is everything agenda, urging me to forgive, forget, and play happy families again. They're setting up family dinners like we're in a sitcom, where everything gets wrapped up in 30 minutes with hugs and life lessons. Jay has been an absolute saint through all of this, but I can tell it's starting to wear on her too. It's one thing to deal with your own mess, but it's another to have someone else's drama invading your space. So after a lot of thinking, soul-searching, and countless late-night talks with Jay, I decided to take a stand. I met my brother face-to-face in a neutral spot, told him I was willing to support his recovery, but I wouldn't pretend we could just pick up where we left off. As for C, I wished her well, but made it clear that our paths had diverged long ago, and for good reason. The family dinner showdown felt straight out of a movie. I laid it all out, my terms for moving forward, how I felt, and what I needed if we were to have any kind of relationship. It wasn't easy. There were tears, raised voices, and moments where I almost walked out and never looked back. But unbelievably, it ended with some form of understanding. Maybe not full acceptance, but a step toward it. We finally reached a point of mutual respect for each other's boundaries and choices. Jay has been right by my side throughout everything, a steady source of strength and my constant cheerleader. As for the future, I'm taking things one step at a time, focusing on building a life with Jay, navigating the complexities of family relationships, and most importantly, learning to trust the journey. It's far from perfect, but it's authentic, it's mine, and I'm determined to embrace it, come what may. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. Life is a winding road, and I'm doing my best to enjoy the ride, bumps and all. Here's to moving forward, finding inner peace, and maybe even uncovering a bit of happiness along the way. Now, for the second part. Hey y'all. I know this is going to be a long one, but I need to get it off my chest. These last couple of weeks have been an absolute nightmare. On Tuesday, I discovered that my boyfriend of over a year had been cheating on me with 4 or 5 different girls pretty much the entire time. And to top it off, he got some random girl pregnant after meeting her on Facebook. He told me he cheated after Christmas, but I later found out from his stepmom and stepbrother that it had been going on for months. We were planning our future, talking about kids, marriage, buying a house, and I never, ever saw this coming. I trusted him, I loved him, and my family adored him. I was so excited for the life we were building together, and he never once gave me a reason to doubt him. He was always so attentive, loving, and caring, until about a month ago, when things started to shift. We were having less intimacy, he stopped complimenting me, and he didn't want to kiss me. He got irritated over the smallest things, and I couldn't figure out what was happening. 2 weeks ago, I confronted him about it, asking if he was still attracted to me, if he wanted to be single, or if something was wrong. I told him that if he wanted to be single, he should just be honest about it. He claimed he still wanted to be with me but felt like we'd lost our spark and that he wasn't where he needed to be in life. I suggested we try relationship counseling, and I kept checking in on how he was feeling, but he always told me everything was fine. So when he suggested taking a break, I was blindsided. We both cried, and then he told me he couldn't stand seeing me so upset, so he left. I later found out that, while I was crying alone in my apartment, he went off to hang out with another girl. Then came Thursday night. I couldn't just sit there and let it slide, so I showed up at his place with my best friend to confront him. He had blocked me from texting and calling, but his stepmom and stepbrother were keeping tabs on him and let me know when he'd be home. I spent 2 days going back and forth, wondering if I should just walk away, try to be the bigger person, but I felt so disrespected. Back in September, he had given me an STI, and at the time, neither of us knew where it came from. Now I knew it came from him cheating on me. So I went to his house, barged through the door, and the look on his face when he saw me was like he'd seen a ghost. He kept asking me what I was doing there. I barged in and let him have it, cussing him out without holding back. He couldn't even react properly. He looked like he was drunk and high, barely processing anything. He tried to touch me, but my best friend jumped in to stop him. It felt so good to finally express everything I had been holding in. His family was in shock, they'd never seen me this way before. He kept lying to my face, insisting there were no other girls, but I followed him outside, still shouting. When he tried to get in his car, I put my hand on the window to stop him. He attempted to close the door with my hand still in the way, so I shoved it back. That's when the door panel popped off and hit the ground. He threatened to call the cops, but I dared him to. Let me tell them how he knowingly gave me an STI. But of course, he didn't call them. Now, sitting in my car reflecting, I realized something. He was jealous of me. He always said he wanted to be the dominant one and the provider in our relationship. I was 22 when we met, 23 now, and I had my own apartment, 2 cars, good credit, lots of friends, side hustles, and a loving family. I never asked for much, just his love, time, and attention. I even took care of him sometimes, paying for his haircuts, putting gas in his car, all while keeping up with my own bills. Meanwhile, he came from a survival mentality. He almost got kicked out of the military twice because of a DUI, made way more money than me, but had terrible spending habits. He was in debt, barely managing to afford his car, had awful credit, couldn't stop drinking or smoking, and came from a broken family. What attracted him to me? He was open about his flaws at the start, telling me he wanted to change and be better. I was drawn to his potential, and I loved that he was aware of his issues and wanted to work on them. In the end, though, he reverted to his self-destructive ways. I realized I am everything he wanted to be, independent, stable, and self-sufficient, and he knew he wasn't good enough for me. He used to ask me all the time why I was even with him, and over time, that resentment grew. He felt the need to hurt and humble me, and he did it by cheating. I'll admit, he succeeded in that. But I realized something important: he's empty inside. He didn't grow up with love, so how could he know how to give it or accept it? He didn't even love himself, so how could he love me? Understanding this has helped me heal in ways I didn't expect. For anyone who's been cheated on, just remember, it's not about you. You can do everything right, and it still won't be enough for the wrong person. You will love again, and you'll meet someone who's praying for someone just like you. I know it's tough, but let yourself feel every emotion, and take it one day at a time. Thanks for letting me vent. Story 3. I overheard my wife talking with my older brother about her cheating experience during a therapy session. She went into detail about how they passionately kissed and how he groped her, fondling her breasts, and asked over her clothes while we were at my parents' house in the storeroom. I'm not sure if they slept together, but it was clear what happened. The conversation I overheard completely shook me. My wife was talking to her therapist about an affair she had with my older brother while she was 4 months pregnant. All I heard was them talking about kissing, but just that detail alone has left me in utter disbelief. I'm shaking as I write this, unsure of what to do or how to approach it. Should I confront her? Should I talk to him? I don't know what to say. My wife is a good mother to our 3 beautiful kids, our 6-year-old, 2-year-old, and the 4-month-old, but now I feel like I don't know who she is anymore. She kept saying she's been trying to reach him, but that he's ghosted her, and now she wants to confront him for using her and disappearing. We spoke today because she could tell how much I was struggling. She asked me if I overheard anything while she was talking to her therapist. I told her no, I hadn't heard anything. But then I asked why she was so concerned about me hearing the conversation. She said there were things from the past she wanted to get over. We continued talking, and she pressed me to talk more. She said she didn't like seeing me upset, so I finally told her that she's a liar. She says one thing and does the opposite. I told her to be honest with me and stop hiding things. She admitted that she had made mistakes and regretted them, but I told her it wasn't just her, it was me, too. She hurt me, and it wasn't just about her mistakes, it affected our kids, too. I told her I couldn't keep living this lie, that I couldn't stay in a relationship where I couldn't trust her. I told her she just needed to say she didn't want this life with me, and we could go our separate ways. She said she wanted this life with me, but she was lost and hadn't realized it. I'm still lost, but at least I see things more clearly now. She tried to hug and kiss me, but I wasn't interested. I haven't told her that I know about what happened yet, but if she knows that I know, then it's over for us. Story 4. We've been dating for just under 3 years. We started during the pandemic, and despite the usual ups and downs, had a good relationship. Her job involves travel, so she's gone 2 or 3 times a year for work. I've never had any reason to suspect she'd cheat. However, this latest trip was different. She went on a work trip with her company after a large merger, and they all had to travel together. She left me at home with our 2 cats. This morning, while using her laptop because mine died, I saw a text message pop up from someone I didn't recognize. I opened it, and the conversation revealed something I wasn't prepared for. She had shared a room with a guy she'd been cheating with. They were talking about being on a plane, and the guy joked about snoring, implying they were close. He asked her to keep it between them because his girlfriend would kill him if she found out. She replied, "Yeah, obviously. Harry, keep this between us, please. Nothing happened, but I'll see you when I visit your state." She's away for another 2 days, and now I'm left trying to process what to do next. I've been trying to figure out what to do about the situation. Should I confront her now, or wait until she gets back? I never thought she'd cheat on me, but it seems I was wrong. To clarify, Jeff wasn't on the plane, and she's staying 2 extra nights. She shared a room with Anna, with separate beds. Anna mentioned hearing snoring, and Jeff joked about snoring when he's tired. The text messages are from the morning, before anything happened that night. Now I'm left wondering whether I should confront her about this right away or wait until she's home. I'm shocked, but I'm not sure what the best move is. And here's what I'll tell you at the very end. You watched this story to the end, it means only one thing: this video format suits you. You should subscribe to the channel to continue listening to similar stories in this format.